Howdy. Been wanting to comment for some time on the big, beautiful bill that President Trump is pushing through Congress. Uh, as I record this, as I understand the headlines, the Senate has started their vote-a-rama and is expected to ultimately approve their version of the bill, which as I understand it, then goes to the House for them to iron out any differences and submit it to President Trump. He's been pushing a July 4th deadline for the ceremony of signing it on July 4th, but recently the comment I saw him make this morning suggests that as long as it gets to him, even if it's a few days later than that, he's happy. And I think this represents the greatest capitulation that Republicans have made over the last 4 or 5 decades to Democrats, and the failure of Republicans to hold any kind of economic line. Apparently, with a few exceptions, all of our congressional leadership is now Democratic and willing to spin America into oblivion. While I am in favor of many of the actions that President Trump has taken, I am also very unhappy and disconcerted, as many are, with Congress' failure to serve as any kind of legislative body, with increasing failures over the last several years to produce any meaningful legislation, and turning instead to these great big bills that are passed with pork barrel spending, failure to address the fundamental concerns of Americans in a meaningful way, and failing basically to be honest with America about where we are economically and what we need to do personally and as communities and as a nation to survive on the world stage. We've taken the advantages that have been set up several decades ago in the context of such things as making the dollar the world reserve currency, and lived off of the ideas that we can simply print money forever and continue to have great financial success and point to the literally billions that have been lifted out of poverty across the world as evidence of the success of our system, while failing to recognize that we are, whatever our potential at any given moment, in a materially finite position. And so I just am concerned that this bill is going to not only undo everything that President Trump has done up to this point politically to secure those concerns that Americans voted for him on, which is another issue in and of itself. People vote for their Congress people and the president for different reasons, and it's politically opportune to claim that whatever the president does is what the people voted for, no matter how extreme it appears to be to others. While that may or may not be true, it certainly is exaggerated in calling for certain actions. And the great disappointment has been that Congress has, in fact, failed to stand up to the president on certain issues, and particularly this financial issue. So, anyway, the fact that we are, with this bill, the projections adding to the deficit significantly over 10 years, while without recognizing that, in fact, many of the deficit elements will be in effect over the next year or two when the policies in this bill are actually enacted, because savings tend to not come until late in the 10-year projection. But then in the next year or two, and certainly after the next presidential election, whoever is elected, and particularly if a Democrat is elected, we're going to see other budget or resolutions put forth, since Congress fails to actually try to generate a budget, let alone a budget that reflects a disciplined fiscal approach. So anyway, just wanted to comment real quick on what I hope I'm wrong about, but I don't think I am, given history of finance, the history of nations, and the fact that you cannot continue to deficit spend and expect to generate a solid financial footing. Thank you very much. Look forward to hearing what you have to say. Bye-bye. Thank you very much for your time. I've got a couple other videos listed here if you'd like to take a look at those. And as I'd like to discuss issues related to politics, religion, society, and how in the world we're supposed to understand ourselves and life in the world. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.